Luke, I'm doing this little bit before Joe comes up. Are you excited to be on the podcast?
Oh no.
Right. So you join us here today.
Oh gosh, are we started? I haven't got my notes ready.
What notes? You join us here today. We're joined by Luke, as the intro would probably suggest, unless Joe's changed the order around.
I definitely won't.
Do you want to say hi, Luke?
Oh, I guess.
No, you're supposed to say hi, Luke.
Oh yeah. It's too early for this.
Luke's the original Luke, the one that said he was surprised at my was it eloquence?
Surprisingly articulate.
That's right.
That was the exact quote.
I mean, I didn't mean that in an unflattering way.
No, I didn't take it down. I quite enjoyed it. So,
Good luck to the editor.
Basically. In this episode, this is completely unplanned. I mean, the only planned episode was the first episode. After that, we've only done one episode so far between then, but it's...
But that second one was literally like...
snippets of
three
segments. Oh, the film that we were reviewing was called Her, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it cut it off, I don't know what happened, but
gosh, yeah.
It just got the end of the synopsis, which was really rubbish. It just... Oh, it turns out they're high school friends. No inclination in the film. But yeah, we'll be talking about a few bits today. Notice I say a few bits because even I don't know other than abandoned buildings. That's about it.
Finally, after the three times of saying it.
On the first podcast. Mad to think that we've done 3. How many views are we on now of them?
I don't know, I will check.
Yeah.
Right, the latest stats. Why do I not have any Wi-Fi?
I wonder. It's like that College Humor video. Nobody wants to hear your podcast.
Oh, thanks.
What was the one in that video? It was wings. Well, the idea was they were going to eat wings while watching the show The West Wing.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think that's a real podcast. Or is that not? Or is I can't. You know, it was such a good satire. I can't remember if that was actually a real podcast. Oh no, there is another West Wing podcast where they discuss every episode of The West Wing.
Yeah.
And then there's also a spin-off podcast of that where they discuss every episode of that podcast.
Yeah. All right. That's. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
the stats.
Yeah.
The latest stats. So the first episode has 47 plays.
Wow.
But more worryingly, the second episode has 22 plays.
Viewer retention.
On the audio views, which basically means that we've lost over half of our views between...
What's it on YouTube?
I will check on YouTube.
Oh, who uses Firefox?
Me.
Well, that's nice.
Where's Chrome? Do you not have Chrome
No.
at all? Oh, you disgust me. www.
So the second episode has not has.
That's what I expected.
Your surprisingly articulateness has just gone.
Yeah.
Right, the second episode has 9 views, which gives it a total of 31, and then the first one is up to 25 views,
Wow.
which gives it a total of 72 views.
Yeah.
Plays. So yeah, people love me.
So
That's
far,
what we get from that.
no one's got at me on Instagram. Got at me. Jesus Christ. Go at me, you bye.
Do I have politics homework to do for tomorrow?
I'm sure the listeners want to hear it.
Yeah. So Joe, tell us about what your homework entails. Have you two thought of what you want to talk about yet, or should we just dive headfirst into a pit which has no water in it? And...
I have a few ideas.
Well, I had an idea, but it required you two to do some homework that you didn't do.
Well, you didn't tell us it.
I was told, and we'll get on to that later. You start with your...
you start with...
Ladies
No, you go first. Oh, this is some great content here. No, you. All
right. Okay. So today, as I say earlier, I would like to talk about about abandoned buildings. No, well done, Joe. That's going to be a lovely just bit of as like I'm talking
the
there.
microphone over.
Yeah, he's just knocking the microphone over. It's because he's fiddling.
It's because Tallie bores me.
Oh, thanks. Obviously, I started doing some abandoned building stuff. I mean, it's been an interest of mine for a very long time. But I've done various buildings, and then Cycle Squad, which was me, Persipacia, Harvey, Joe, obviously, and Luke. Warren as well.
Warren
occasionally.
is like...
Warren
Yeah,
was
he's
like
like
Cycle
Warren.
Squad. Yeah. I took them on one recently. That was good fun.
Big up Cycle Squad.
Big up Cycle Squad.
What do you mean recently? It was in like June.
There's a reason enough.
Yeah.
Shut up about the pedantic.
Sorry, Harry.
This podcast is built on Joe's pedantics. Cause
That is true.
There's just the long suffering from me and Joe carrying on about a train or something. Which, hey ho. If you enjoy that, press the like button and share it now. If you don't enjoy it, press the like button and share it now. But yeah, no, seriously, I'm holding your family hostage. Please do it now. Why am I being so polite if I'm a hostage holder?
Do it.
Do it!
Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreamed. That's probably copyrighted.
So,
Yeah.
right,
So,
you
yes,
went on this cycle
carry on.
ride.
Oh yeah, we went to one place. That was quite an interesting ride because I decided that if we took a sort of back way in, it would look less suspicious. Turned out the back way was full of mud, although we did see a van, and we thought this van was part of the security, and we hung about, locked our bikes up, hung about, thinking, and literally, I'd said to Joe, right, just go down and ask him if he minds us going round. As Joe was walking down, I just see him turn around and come running back. He was like, oh, the van's driven off. And then I suddenly realised that it was between 12 and 1. We'd just been stood there for about an hour, which is obviously when most commercial vehicles go for their lunch break. And he'd probably just been sat in this little lay-by bit, eating his lunch. And if you'd seen us, you probably would have just seen us wandering about, staring at him occasionally through the trees. But anyway, we went in and they all enjoyed it. So it's Cycle Squad is evolving. And so yeah, I don't know where that little ditty was meant to lead, but basically it's something I enjoy. But I think that, I don't know about you guys. I must say I think I'm sickening for something. So if I sound really odd and gravelly, it's because I'm ill.
As am I. It's flu season here in the UK.
Yeah. Is it? Is this flu season?
Is it?
Why do you look at me? Like I know.
Because you do know.
No, I don't. I'm not sick, so I don't care.
Did you say something about sex? You want sex? Did you just go, I want sex, I don't care?
I love that. That's what you got from what?
What did you say?
I said I'm not sick.
Oh.
So what's some good places to urban explore?
So I mean, there are so. I've been to some greenhouses. Sadly, I got to a bit late, and so they were a bit.
They knocked
beat
them
up.
down while you were inside.
How did you know? No, they were a bit beat up, sadly. But I need to take you both to that actually, because it's a good place if it's still in any condition. And there are various ones across the world. There's a big mall. Now I can't remember whether it's Thailand or India. It's somewhere, and it floods every time there's a monsoon. Yeah, so there's a mall, India, Thailand, somewhere. Anyway, yeah, it floods every monsoon season, and there's a lot of. I think it must be near the coast, or at least somewhere that koi is found in the wild, and so the fish obviously the fish. Birds pick them up or eat the eggs, and the eggs survive. No, but in the process of they go into this mall. They obviously roost there, but they drop the eggs or whatever. And inside this mall, all these koi, there's thousands upon thousands of koi, that just chill. I don't know what else they do. What is the purpose of an animal? That's a bit deep, but really we have a purpose. That's a whole other conversation thing. That's a cool place. I'd like to go and see that. Have you guys ever seen in Wales, there's some caves, and it was an old slate mine.
Is this the one with the cars?
The
that are
cars,
down?
yeah,
I've
and they
seen
just
that.
chucked all the cars into this slate mine, and it's quite a climb down, but then a big old pit, and it's really deep, and it's got on one side where there's a hole in the top of the cavern. They just chuck these cars and broken bits of cars in. Supposedly it's where they used to have like crashes up in the sort of high areas where they couldn't be bothered to bring them down. They take them to this cave and just chuck them in there. And there's an old Austin or something like that, one of the most sort of preserved vehicles in there that's not submerged. And you can, like, if you take a little inflatable down, you can go across and clamber all over this heap of cars and whatnot.
Are cars still added to the pile?
No. I mean the cars are sort of from the 70s, early 70s, maybe mid 70s. So there's nothing more. I don't think it would be allowed anymore, would it? Just a Vauxhall Astra being yeeted in, which would be quite fun actually. Just drive a Vauxhall, well, not just a Vauxhall, any car at the cave opening, dive out last minute, and just shoot into the cave and hear a little plop. Well, quite a large plop, and watch it sink. But do you two know of any abandoned places? I feel like this podcast so far is mainly me.
I mean, the place, it gets clickbaited a lot, but when the Hurricane Katrina hit, Six Flags, the theme park chain in the US, didn't bother reopening Six Flags Louisiana. That is still around. It's just this abandoned theme park. They've got, to be honest, looking around, it didn't seem like they had that much in terms of, it was one of the smaller Six Flags parks. But yeah, it's kind of creepy. I know there's a lot of stuff in Ukraine.
I sense the Eastern European regions probably has a lot of stuff there. I don't know.
Yeah, old Soviet stuff.
Yeah, because of course, Pripyat. I'd love to go Pripyat. I used a website, and they have sort of notable reports. If you know the website, you know the website. It's sort of a commonly used thing in our circles, but I don't, obviously, because I've got in trouble before from sort of veterans of the site for bringing in my modern ways. So I'm not going to name the website. But yeah, there's notable reports on there, and one of them was these people went into Pripyat and not with a guide. They had a guide, but obviously it wasn't exactly a tour where you go in for 4 hours or whatever and come back out all legal. But they went in, and obviously there's a river. I don't know what the river's called, but in the winter or whenever it's a sort of massive torrent, and in the summer you can just about pass it. They went in, and you're called a stalker if you go in, based on I think it's 1979 film. I can't remember what it's the same now.
Tarkovsky,
yeah. I think the game as well. There's a game, wasn't there, called Stalker or something like that. Not old, but anyway. They went in. They camped out in a building, and they sort of made their way towards the centre of Pripyat. They wandered sort of around the Red Forest. I think Chernobyl, we should do a whole episode on Chernobyl actually, because it's quite an interesting thing. But that's somewhere I'd like to go. I don't know, 'cause I don't know about you, but my parents don't get why I'd sort of essentially risk my life, basically. They don't get that, because I don't know whether you feel the same in the sense that while you're young you might as well go out and have these memories. And sure, I'd like to, be rich in the end of times, but I don't really care if I'm not rich, as long as I have good memories. I don't know about you two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd do much of the urban exploration stuff myself, because I am very risk averse.
The complete opposite. I'm surprised I haven't ever been run over.
But I don't know, watching the YouTube videos is quite interesting.
I don't know whether you watch the Proper People. They're a pair of American, I think they're film students. So it's very well done filmography or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they go urban exploring, and their videos are well worth the watch. And they've recently done a European tour, they went Germany, sort of up towards Switzerland, back into Germany, sort of around that area.
Right.
And there were a lot of industrial sites in sort of Europe, whereas America you have a whole different demographic of a lot of malls, because obviously they had, in the 90s they had the whole mall culture, which has kind of gone out of fashion now.
Yeah. There's a, sorry to cut in.
That's all right.
There's a channel I very much enjoy, run by, it's run by this guy called Dan Bell.
Oh, Dan Bell. Yeah.
And he does the Dead Mall series.
Yeah.
And while the ones he's going to are generally, occasionally he'll do an abandoned one. He's generally going to still active malls.
Yeah.
However, when I say dead, it means that it will be a full-size mall, but maybe only 5 or so of the retail spaces are actually taken up by shops. The rest will just be empty.
Yeah.
And there will he'll only encounter maybe 1 or 2 other people in his entire time looking around. So not exactly abandoned, but just like
like more disused, rarely used stuff.
They basically sort of are. They're disused basically, abandoned, because to some extent they have a little bit of maintenance on the building just to keep it watertight.
No, there's
other than that,
still stuff going on.
I don't know whether you keep up to date much with Vice.
Occasionally, I used to be a more active watcher.
Yeah, they did a whole series called Abandoned. Brilliant soundtrack. It was a skater, he was a Canadian skater, and so he went to abandoned places, did sort of a bit of, he explored them essentially a little bit, and then told the history, and then he'd like try and skate various features of them. And he went around Canada and the US, viewing all these things. I would recommend watching that because that was really, really interesting. One of them went to, I think it was an old sanatorium or something like that. Maybe it was a school, but anyway, it was some kind of public building, and it must have been at New Orleans, because obviously New Orleans being such a poor. I mean, he went to New Orleans, but I think it was Detroit. Detroit's the really poor city, isn't it?
Detroit's some bad areas.
Yeah. And obviously there, because of that, there's a lot of abandoned buildings there, and in one of them the floor, it was an old parquet floor, so wooden strips of wood, much like you'd probably find in your gym at school, and it's sort of, whether it was because of subsidence or what, shrinking and growing, it certainly got wet and obviously bent upwards, so it basically made a perfect like skater's sort of ramp, and so he's like, you mind if I skate? And the security guard, because obviously being a security guard at one of these places must be incredibly boring, because although you get a lot of people trying to go in, you're also just kind of walking around. I mean, they have nerves of steel. Like, I don't know why. I'm a very nervy person. Let's face it. But I don't know what. I mean, I don't like darkness behind me. Yeah, I'll go into an abandoned building. I'd still be terrified, but I think
that's why you do it. Yeah, because you get that sort of adrenaline kick, and that's why you more do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much why. Yeah,
because I don't I'm not scared. I'm not a big fan of heights.
Yeah.
But I love going on tall buildings for that reason. That I get like this feeling in my stomach. It's like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm more of a, I guess, like you say, outdoorsy. Urban explory person.
Yeah.
I'm more of like a wilderness person, I guess.
Yeah.
Like having like nothing there. That more appeals to me. I guess is, again, Luke, you're probably more of a risk averse. No, let's stay indoors. And watch the guy on YouTube do it.
Yeah. I think the term urban explorer and abandoned building explorer is mixed up. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I say urbex all the time.
You always say urbex, yeah.
Even this up here on the screen, I'm displaying the website. They have it as urban exploration. That, to me, a lot of them aren't, because urban exploration to me is not just abandoned buildings. It's roofing, like rooftopping, where you go up onto the roofs and run around, even on buildings that are still active. So I think that to me makes me think of towns and cities, whereas a lot of these abandoned places are out in the middle of nowhere. So I think almost there should be it's a small group of urban explorers in the grand scheme of things. So I think it would be difficult to, but it should be classified more as urban exploration in towns and cities, and then like abandoned
Rural
exploration.
exploration.
Yeah, rural ex.
Rural ex. No, it's good fun though. I don't know. I like getting into trouble. I don't like getting into trouble. I like to. Not like things that are illegal, but things that are more suspicious. And then, because you always end up with that awkward interaction with a security person, and they're like, "Oh, okay, you're not a terrorist," and then everyone gets on with their life.
There's one place, Uckfield or something like that, I think. Big old mansion, halfway through construction, and the guy's South African, and I can't remember his name, but he was linked to someone throwing a grenade into someone's house, one of his enemies. One of his sort of henchmen's doing it. So he's in prison or was deported, I can't remember. Deporter. That's some fine if anyone gets that. But anyway, yeah, what's just happened? His mansion's still there, and it's got a big old, I think it's a gold sort of dome on it. So it's very noticeable. If you're driving along a road, you can see it. And it's just stuck in the middle of nowhere. And the security guards, you're lucky if you get the police called on you from them, because they're thugs basically. So to an extent, I like the thought of getting caught and having this sort of chill interaction with a person of security, because most of them are alright. If you have a camera on you and you say, "Look, I'm taking photos," and you aren't destroying things, obviously you're just destroying things. Not only you can't, but you run the risk of serious legal stuff. But they are just brutal. Apparently, they sort of threaten to beat you up. Apparently they've got heat vision, thermal imaging.
Heat vision.
Thermal
imaging cameras.
Yeah, in their little hut, so they can activate that. They are that serious about it. But it's all a bit odd. But yeah, I think that urban exploration should be encouraged. Because I mean, these buildings are going to waste. You might as well get people taking photos of them. Obviously, if you encourage it too much, then you sort of get an oversaturated field where a popular building that is very photogenic will have thousands of photos of it, which is the case in some places. There's a mine over America way. Actually, I can't remember if it's America or Europe, but it's really
Big
photogenic,
difference.
And there are a lot of photos of that. Which I see floating around, which to an extent it looks a really cool place, but it's also, you want to go to the places that no one else goes to, and going to that sort of...
Am I right in thinking that there's I think it's in France, it's either going to be France or the UK, Belgium, that there's a abandoned Eurostar?
Yes, France, yeah.
How did that get there?
I believe it was being taken to be scrapped, and someone just left it there, and it just stayed there.
I love those Eurostars. They like the sound of them when
when they're obviously in service. The sound of them is great, and they look cool. So yeah, that would be something I would like to see as a urban exploration individual, abandoned building explorer person.
Yeah.
Right, is that it on abandoned buildings?
Yeah.
All right.
Captain Kutchie's key lime pies. Okay, where do I begin with this? Some people were using a barbecue forum, because there's forums for everything. They were using a forum where people talk about barbecue implements and how to correctly cook stuff. I don't really know. And they noticed that there were some strange comments that didn't seem quite right, in the sense that they didn't follow like the way a normal person types when they're speaking on the internet. And it was general kind of mindless gibberish about key lime pies, an obsession with key lime pies that were made by this one guy at this restaurant called Captain Kutchie's Key Lime Pies in Key West, Florida. And I thought, okay, that's kind of strange. And then as you go a bit deeper, you find these comments are everywhere. They range from, so if you go on some key lime pie recipes with which are quite popular,
Yeah.
you can sometimes find these comments in the comments section. Or sometimes, if you go weirdly, if you find like trashy tabloid articles that are somewhat sexual in nature, these will also have these bizarre, meaningless rambles by somebody. Usually, they'll let me find an example of what one of these comments is like, and they seem to just be everywhere.
Yeah.
And here's where it gets strange. Nobody can quite figure out how on earth these are getting around, because they are so widespread and have been posted for so long. It would be unreasonable to even think that it could have been done by a single person.
Yeah.
So you think, okay, maybe there's a team of trolls, maybe it's like some kind of community doing this.
Yeah.
However, there's been no reference to any people. Like it would have had to have been an extremely underground and coordinated effort.
Did you find an example?
Let me. Here we go. This is a strange one.
Yeah.
So I found this account from this guy on the Chicago Reader, so some kind of news publication in Chicago.
Yeah.
His name is Jake Carson. They all have these generic names, and somebody and his recent comment. It just doesn't get any better than seeing the gorgeous Mrs. Anita Pelaez over at her husband Captain Kutchie's place. Some folks also call him the Kutchman, others call him the Kutchmon. Most just call him the most interesting man in the world. Anita and Kutchie Pelaez Key West Key Lime Pie Factory and Grill. Just watching the lovely people baking together all those yummy key lime pies at their Key Lime Pie Factory and Grill in Asheville. It's always worth the trip to visit them in their historic Key Lime Pie Factory and Grill. It should be on everyone's bucket list for sure. And the world's best key lime pies. Yum, yum, yum. Talk about world class. What an understatement. The magic of the lovely Mrs. Anita Pelaez and her lovely, delicious key lime pies baked with pure love always. 40 years and they're still going strong. May God continue blessing Anita and Kutchie Pelaez and their world-famous key lime pie factory, where the personalities, ovens and smiles are always warm and inviting. Kutcheritaville, you're the best, we love you. Now you know who is the hottest. And baby, let me tell you, Mrs. Anita is no act, she's the real thing, baby. Located near Baltimore House and Estate, who could ask for anything more? Anita's key lime pie, hell yes. Just think, Kutchie's goody goody cheeseburgers, the original cheeseburgers in paradise. That alone is quite a pretty big deal if you ask me. Hell, it's a pretty big deal even if you don't ask me. That's the whole comment. And the reason why I was stuttering there a lot is because the formatting is really bizarre. Sometimes it will just start a new line in the middle of like a sentence. So a lot of people have theorized that this is a rogue bot, that this is some kind of automatic chatbot that people have, that somebody has developed, and it's somehow through artificial learning started commenting on random articles. Certain things seem to trigger it. These bizarre gibberish. Now here's where it got really creepy. When somebody did some digging, they found, when they searched for references to Captain Kutchie, there's a book all about which has got a Captain Kutchie in it.
Yeah.
Or it was on one of Google's. Google has lots of different features that people don't really use. One where you can search for patents, and another one is where you can search through lots of old books.
Yeah.
And so they searched for a Captain Kutchie, and when they looked in the comments section for this book that was buried deep within the Google archives, there was a comment about Captain Kutchie's key lime pies.
In this
Somebody
book.
had already gotten there and put something in the comments section.
Yeah.
And as I said, what's so strange is nobody can seem to quite pinpoint the source where these bizarre comments are coming from. They just seem to spring up.
It's one of those just weird internet things.
It is one of those
like
weird
we
internet
discussed
things.
in the first episode.
I love weird internet things.
I typed in Captain Kutchie's key lime pie.
Yeah, go down to the comment section.
Well, it came up with this thing, and it said the oldest post we found from with the most recent being to an awful TMZ story 4 days ago. Click the link. The link's to
So that's why
a
you've got.
man with a 19-inch penis.
Nice.
What?
Go down to the comments though.
I was.
No, go up. I don't know, but go up. I saw where it said comments. Click to view.
Oh yeah, here we go.
And then Control F. See if you can find any key
Control
lime
F.
pies.
Just do
Key
line.
There's none then.
There isn't.
Oh, that's a shame.
I
Maybe-
think that
Maybe the moderators got rid of it in that case. Nah,
Nah.
never mind.
you obviously were truly trolled.
There are a lot of articles like that do just seem to have bizarre key lime pie comments.
So there could have easily been a keyline pie comment in there that either the mods got rid of or...
There definitely was
Further
at some
down.
point.
Yeah.
I remember looking around at some of these articles. I mean, this restaurant did exist at some point. I mean, we're pretty sure this restaurant did exist at some point. However, it hasn't existed for at least probably 15 years, I think. Here we go. That's the book. Naval Innovation for the 21st Century. And it references a Captain Kutchie. This is really obscure
the
book.
captain, is this...
And already somebody has
here's-
gotten there and written a review for the book about Captain Kutchie's famous key lime pie.
I sure hope this will be a great opportunity for everyone to see some of Don's scenes from his productions of his classic hits, Tales from
Kutcheritaville. Yeah, lots of very bizarre.
You know that Rickles and Johnny Carson together produced these comedy hits about their friend Mr. Kutchie Palais and their wild and crazy exploits of Kutchie's Key West and the world of key lime pies from the perspective of Johnny Carson, Don Rickles, Kutchie Palais, and Steve Martin's eyes. When a hoot those classic hits surely were. Don't miss them. Be sure to tune in next month. We laughed our asses off until we cried watching those funny movies, the tales from Kutcheritaville. I think that they may still be available in a boxed set.
See, on this website, it's a Reddit.
Yeah, on the Reddit.
It
Yeah.
says Captain Kutchie Palais was found in this book on Google, which references the book. Apparently, according to my tinfoil cap, Mark Y. Palais is a retired chief of naval research for the US. He's only referred to as Captain Kutchie once or twice with what we read. Anita Jones is the name of a woman who worked with Palais as a director of defence research and engineering from 1993 to 1997. She is also mentioned in the book. They were not involved romantically and don't seem to have any ridiculous interest in pie shops. Also, the mysterious commenter posted yet another. But yeah, so that was obviously. Is that just the book or is that? No, it's just the book. Okay.
Well, that was a very interesting topic to bring up, Luke. Thank you for that.
It's either a rogue bot or
It's very strange.
it's like one person was doing a couple. He did a couple hundred, or she. They did a couple hundred, and then everyone
caught
sort of
on,
jumped on the
yeah.
bandwagon.
Yeah, maybe other people.
But at the
I mean, the
same
thing is,
time-
what's bizarre is the format is so consistent.
Yeah.
But it's not copy paste.
Yeah.
Because the words themselves are different, it's just the format.
But the format is so consistent, and I think it would be really hard to get right.
Yeah.
Which is what leads people to believe that if it was by multiple people, it would have to be coordinated in some way. But the thing is, it's been going on so long, and it's so widespread.
Yeah.
Like, for it to be some kind of practical joke, it seems far too elaborate. Yeah, it's one of those things which... Because it's not like malicious.
No.
It's just like
Really
what?
weird.
Yeah.
There's no harm in it, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's. Can I bring up another really bizarre video on
Yeah.
YouTube?
Gosh, go on then.
Now this was an ARG, so this is not like real. Do you know what an ARG is?
No.
Okay, we could bring that up quickly. An ARG is an alternate reality game.
Yeah.
So generally, what will happen is there'll be some kind of forum post or maybe something posted on YouTube that will have some kind of story or something along those lines. And it might feature a code of some kind, or maybe it will have an address.
Yeah.
And the idea is it combines things going on online
Yeah.
and people collaborating online with people also having to complete actions in the real world.
Yeah.
I guess, did you cover Cicada 3301?
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
That is an example of an alternate reality game
I see.
in some sense. There was a smaller scale one. Let me find... sorry, this is really boring because I didn't prepare this.
We haven't talked to... What's his name in the corner? What's his name?
Mike.
Mike, thank you. I'm sorry, Mike. I keep forgetting your names because you don't talk very much. Oh, it's only
His
going to be me
joke
this
is
year.
just so dead.
Oh, it's only me at this moment. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mike's dead to me.
Mike's just.
I found it.
That's why he doesn't speak. Yeah.
Do you want to watch it? I'm not
Yeah.
sure what the best way to watch it. It won't be very nice for viewers. The audio is not pleasant.
We can kind of just describe it.
We'll just pause the audio and watch the video.
Yeah,
Okay.
I paused
What's the name of it so they
Okay,
can
the
watch it?
video. Watch at your own
Pause-
discretion.
pause-
There's
pause-
nothing in it There's nothing in the video that's particularly graphic. The audio is not very nice, and you might find it a little bit disturbing.
What's the name of the video?
The video is 11BX1371. Sorry, I messed that up.
That's on YouTube, is it?
It is on YouTube.
So if you want to watch it, you can watch it there. We'll pause the video, we'll watch it and get back to you.
Right.
Yeah, that was weird.
Okay, now I'm going to be honest, that was a lot. Now, watching it in the daylight on speakers with a bunch of other people was a lot less creepy.
Yeah.
Watching it alone in the dark with headphones kind of freaked me out.
Yeah.
It's fair enough.
Watching it now,
Yeah.
it was kind of goofy, if I'm honest.
I think when I first saw it, I was creeped out by it.
But yeah, it was like watching it alone in the dark because it's the noise. Cause I'll get into that. But there are a couple strange things about it. Now it's unlike the key lime pies things. This has been fully explained. It was an art project basically. However, there were a couple strange things about it when there was initial investigations. So I think the first thing that springs to mind is, at least at the time, I haven't done any recent research on it, but at least at the time when this video was kind of picked up, there were big discussions about where this had been filmed. I think that kind of indicated a lot about the nature of the video, if they could find where it had been filmed.
Yeah.
And so they found it had been filmed in Poland, specifically in this abandoned hospital.
Yeah.
I think it was an abandoned hospital or something like that in Poland,
Mm.
tying it all back to the urban exploration.
Yeah.
The strange thing is, though, I'm pretty sure it was either that there was no way to get to that point in the hospital, or that there was security or things like that. But effectively, in theory, it should have been impossible for them to have been filming where the video takes place.
Yeah.
Like that section, there was no way for them to be filming there.
Yeah.
Yet the video takes place there.
Yeah.
Secondly, you probably noticed throughout there are some brief codes that are shown. Those will relate to a few different things. And then there's the audio. The audio, if you've never encountered it before, is really strange.
Yeah.
It's got
Yeah, it is strange.
it's that kind of,
Do you want me to play it?
I don't even know how to describe it. It's got this kind of
Just play like the opening 5 seconds or something.
just press replay. That sound, it's almost bug-like.
Yeah. And it sort of changes
And then
speed
throughout it changes, yeah.
and tempo and whatnot. But yeah.
That is a spectrogram. And if you've never... Oh, sorry, I mispronounced that. A spectrogram. So a spectrogram is a way of visualizing audio. Now, if you...
so like when you play it on the thing on a computer and it shows you like it will come up with like words or whatever in that.
Yeah, you have to use a specific piece of software.
Yeah.
There's a specific piece of spectrogram software you have to use.
What, like on the old, like, you know when you used to play music on Windows?
Not like that.
Okay.
Those are visualizers, and those are cool, but I'm pretty sure those are random.
It's like
Like, you
this
can't-
on
you
here, is it? So that when you speak more, it widens, but it's on a
A
vertical.
very considerably more advanced.
Yeah,
visualizer.
yeah, but it's
It's
similar.
like a visualizer, like the visualizer that you think of when you just play music. I'm pretty sure that's random. You can't play the same song twice
Yeah,
and get the same visualization.
yeah,
Whereas with a spectrogram, it's actually like an
Identical.
actual visual representation of it. It is. And generally, if you're playing normal music or normal audio, it's just a blur. It's just like waves,
Yeah.
right? However, you can create images, and you can turn images into sound. However, that usually results in that strange buzzing bug-like sound.
yeah,
Now, but anyone who's into code breaking, spectrograms are used quite often. They hear that and they're like, this is a spectrogram.
yeah.
And so they put it in, and what they found the image was of this very bizarre scene. I believe it was of. It looked like it was a picture of a woman being tortured or something along those lines. And people got very worried initially that this was potentially legitimate. It wasn't. It was a clip from, I think, a German horror film, fortunately. However, it was very unnerving for the people to put it in a spectrogram and see this very horrific image being presented to them.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, you want that. And then I think there was another series of things that happened that was kind of strange. Basically, after all of the codes were cracked, it gave a very strange message that alluded potentially to some kind of terrorist attack or something of that nature, right? And people were somewhat concerned about this. Obviously, nothing came to light about this.
Yeah.
I don't think the channel name is currently Peter Wright or Parker Wright, sorry. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the name of the artist. I don't think it was that originally when the video was uploaded.
No.
Yeah, but it caused a bit of a hullabaloo in the unsolved mysteries community, I guess, when it first came out. Because it was this really bizarre thing, loads of weird codes, stuff going on. And the video just on the server is just like the plague mask. It's just kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why you've left that image on.
Because I wanted to scare you. Haunt you in your dreams.
It's the way the eye piece is as well, like the reflective, and it is just kind
I have
of
to
creepy.
admit, when I was watching it and he had the little glowing thing in his hand, I just saw an Xbox.
That's a little bit goofy. Like when you're watching it with other people, that's a little bit goofy.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, okay, that's a bit funny.
Also, what was going on with the? I assume spray painted images on the back of
Yeah, that's part of the codes. So they were that was one of the
see.
codes people had to solve.
Yeah, I have to find a exploration video of the actual place because I'm interested to see.
Oh, okay. See what you can find about it.
Yeah, because obviously if you're saying that there's no way to get to it, that means they're either security or knew the security or paid them off somehow and got a ladder or something up to it. Or it was destroyed after they'd filmed just to make it that much more.
Perhaps, yeah.
Weird.
I'm not entirely.
So you're saying there was a route, but then after they filmed, they destroyed the route. So
Yeah, it's conceivable. It's a more extreme thing, but it's plausible.
Yeah, I see. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the art project. It's like obviously on a less gruesome scale. I sort of reminds me of the first Black Mirror episode where the artist kidnaps the princess in the name of art and gets the Prime Minister to do his thing with the pig.
Oh, I see.
Have you seen Black Mirror?
I haven't seen.
Okay.
It's one of the things that I meant to watch, but I haven't got around to doing
I'm
it.
sure we'll end up talking about it at some point.
Yeah,
But
I'll
it kind of reminds me of that. Luke will know Black Mirror.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it was a Netflix, wasn't it? Netflix.
Netflix purchased it after Series 2.
Yeah.
So
The first two were on Channel 4.
No, Channel 4.
And then, but it's all on Netflix now. Except
What,
first
even
two.
Series 1. Series 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah, but
So I'm
Series
thinking
1
again,
and 2
Netflix.
are still on Channel 4 as well.
Like, yeah, I have the book. Well, I need to get the box set for Series 3 now.
Yeah.
But I've got Series 1 too. You can watch, like, what's great about it is you can watch it in any order. It's an anthology series.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's-
So every single episode is like a mini movie,
Yeah.
basically.
Right.
There's no like progression
Yeah.
between them. None
And
of
it's
the
not even
characters,
like it's not even like some TV shows, like a lot of kids shows. The idea is you can watch any episode in any random order, but there will still be like strands of like there'll be recurring characters, and there might be strands of
linking.
linking. There is no linking at all. It's just a general theme
Yeah.
that you can pick up by watching them in any order. Like a lot of the community likes to make up their own orders of how you should watch it to get the most out of the series thematically.
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know, I just watched them in order because that's how they were sort of presented
That's just
to
how
me.
Netflix auto plays it.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally. When I'm binge watching it on the sofa with a 2-litre can of popcorn.
Can?
Like bucket.
Oh, okay.
You measure buckets in litres, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't call them a can. If I'm in a bucket, I call it a bucket.
Well, I don't eat popcorn, so I was just trying to appear.
Oh,
normal.
yeah, you. Right.
Do you have anything else you want to bring up?
Theresa May's dance. What an absolute dance that was. She's an absolute unit, I swear. Look at her go. I'm not at all in any way political, so if I'm offending you right now,
Just making this so political.
yeah, I'm offending
Politics
everyone.
podcast.
So
This is the Guardian Politics podcast.
I don't even know which way I'm going now. I don't care actually, so don't inform me. Well,
Brexit means
Seemingly.
breakfast.
Brexit. What are you doing? Breakfast. Do you know if you lick these, you can electrocute yourself?
Yes, I did know that you can. If you lick the battery, you can electrocute. Right, I want to bring something up.
Oh no.
Oh no, Tallie.
Okay.
Bina. Hair dye. When
Yeah.
people like change their hair colour.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on it?
Depends.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, it depends.
Like
I'm just gonna sound so judgmental,
an unnatural colour.
Uh,
Like so
Am I just? Oh no.
Yeah.
so blue or green or something like that.
Why? Well, the thing is, it's really bad for your hair,
Yeah.
and it fades really quickly.
Yeah.
But when it's done good, I think it
Do you mean
can.
done well?
Grammar.
Me?
Is-
Correcting the Nazis?
You
The Nazis?
just- you-
Correcting the Nazis?
But no, when it's done.
Suddenly, time travelling version of me appears. Well done, Tallie. You built a time travel thing and corrected.
When,
the
no, when,
Nazis.
I think when it's done well, it can look really attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, generally, the only colours I've seen done well are red and purple, and even then, like the purple fades and it ends up just looking great.
Bright blue is very, well. Actually, it's less popular now. Like I don't know. I have my
I didn't think that looked good at all.
like a navy. Or not somewhat like just sort of like a darkish blue. Was really popular for a while. It's less popular now though. I find the really popular colour now is sea green or somewhat like sea green or aqua blue, somewhere between those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a greeny blue. That's really popular at the moment.
Why?
I'm not sure. It might be because it still looks okay when it fades.
Yeah.
But what were you? Why were you bringing this up?
I don't know. I just wanted to gather
That's okay.
opinions.
No, I'm not. Like a lot of people are like. I always bring up Reddit. It's because Reddit's my life. Oh man. But no, they have a real like vendetta against doing anything to your body. They're like, if you're not 100% pure, then it looks terrible and you're stupid. Like, there's a lot of these men on there that's don't seem to want people to do anything. So they're all like, oh, hair colours look stupid or whatever. No, I think it's cool. Self-expression.
No, see, I can see where they're coming from, but it's not really about that. Like, if it doesn't look, if you're happy with it, then that's fair enough. But I personally just think it's a bit. Some of them can not be particularly great.
I mean, okay, a lot of people like to go.
I think you've got to do it well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people try to do rainbow hair, and even if you get it done professionally,
Yeah.
it generally doesn't work out very well because it will fade. It will inevitably fade relatively quickly, and then it just doesn't look very
I'm
good.
guessing that some colours would fade quicker than others as well.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Piercings then.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well,
Depends.
that's the natural progression.
See,
It's
I
not up
think
to me.
if you're gonna
Very
go
nice.
for this like tattooed look, it's quite cool. But when you start to get like piercings all around your ear, like in like literally all the way around that, it looks a bit excessive. I think a nice 1 or 2 piercings look quite well. It's particularly on men if you've got like a stud. It looks odd, but it looks quite cool. I would have one.
My dad used to have an earring.
And then obviously belly piercings. Not really.
Oh,
Tongue
that's
piercings.
the mid. That's the late 90s, early 2000s look.
Yeah, and then obviously other piercings in more sexual areas are just that awkward. I'd be terrified. Like, see any piercing really, I'm terrified of like catching it or something and just ripping my like skin apart as it like pulls out of my skin. But I think, as I say, if you're going to go for that look and lifestyle, then go full out. Why not?
I mean, well, once again, some people are just like really anti-tattoo. I guess my feeling on it, this is really, really judgmental, and it comes off really judgmental. I don't mean it as such. You can do whatever you like, and I would never bring it up to you. I'd never go up to somebody and say, I think they look bad. Just like, why would you do that? Yeah, nobody gets anything out of that interaction. But I think just from like a personal standpoint, I guess if I was forced to do it myself, I don't. A lot of younger women. Oh God, it sounds so bad. And men too. Like to get small pieces just done in random places.
Yeah.
Like
So,
on the back.
infinity
wrist.
signs are really popular
Yeah.
for a while. I'm not sure what's popular at the moment. Musical notes are really popular for a while.
The ones that are like particularly for women, obviously, for obvious reasons. The ones sort of underneath you.
Oh, those are quite
breasts.
big though. Those aren't actually what I'm really thinking of. But those
But
are
they're the big
those are
ones
popular.
now, which
It's all over the.
I think
Snaps
like,
the
with
ground.
like piercings, like so you want the piercing, okay, you get it, fair enough, you do what you want, yeah. Whether it may be, 5 years later or however long you decide that's no longer the look you want, you can just take it out and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
whole
Yeah.
pill.
And
Tattoos, it's really difficult to
it
remove.
is
them.
hard. It's very painful.
Mm.
It's a long process. Yeah. So it's not something. You know. Now the thing is, the mindset is very different. People who are getting them generally don't have the mindset of am I going to regret this in 5 years, because they're not thinking in that mindset. It's more a matter of this is an expression of how I am now. If in 5 years that's not the case, then I can get something that is an expression of how I am in 5 years as well.
yeah,
But I've still got the memory of how I was. That's how I interpret them thinking of that.
yeah,
Whereas we are people like, oh, I'm not going to like how it is in 5 years, therefore I shouldn't do it. But I was saying, when people get small patchy pieces, they just get like random images all over. I don't think that's very aesthetically pleasing.
No, I think sleeves can look quite good.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you get the reason why people get small patchy ones is because they're much cheaper.
Mm.
They're probably about £50 to £100 for a small one, which is much more easily achievable. If you're going all in on the initial half sleeve, full sleeve, large back piece or whatever, that will cost you in several hundred to well over into the thousands, right? Which a lot of people don't have or are not willing to save up for. And that takes a lot of thought, where a lot of people like to just get one effectively on a whim. So, that's fair enough. But if you do put in a lot of thought, you go to a proper artist, you spend a lot of money, and you get a properly coloured or shaded piece, I think it look great. It's really impressive. It's a really good piece of art. And, I mean, technology has gotten a lot better. So when people say, oh, it's going to look terrible and really faded, because you see old people with really terrible and faded ones, the thing is, the technology that they were using was a lot worse. So, in theory, it shouldn't fade so bad, at least not as badly as the ones we see.
The final thing to bring up, we
Mhm.
went to an escape room yesterday. Do you want to?
yeah,
do you want
yeah.
to? Do you want to?
It was my first.
Yeah.
Was it all of our first
I think it was
ones
all
ever?
of us.
Yeah.
So
I think
do you want
I'd be interested to. I think I was worried I was going to get kind of scared by being trapped, but that never really crossed my mind.
No.
I
think once you get out of the first room, which we did quite quickly, there was enough room to move. It was quite light.
Yeah, the first section was a bit scary.
Yeah.
yeah.
But you get through it. It was pretty simple.
Once I leant on that hole in the wall, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, there's a letterbox there.
So you were the one that bent that bit in half. Could you lay on that?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that was really good.
Do you
I
want to
really
do you want
enjoyed
to
that.
briefly explain what an escape room is in case people
Yeah, we
haven't
should.
worked it out? Yeah.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah. So the one we went to, you could have between 2 to 5 people. We had 5, us 3, and
It's good that we had five.
Hurster and Parsley. Yeah. And there's in our case there's usually a premise to it. Most of them are zombies. Or The Walking Dead, something along those lines. There's also a Sherlock Holmes one in Baker Street.
This one, I don't know whether
really?
you
That's
further
cool.
afield. No, but in Eastbourne last summer there was that gas cloud that kind of came along Berlin Gap, which is near Beachy Head. I was out in a kayak and I looked over and it was a really nice day, calm, and I looked over and there's all the mist and I went, oh, it's nice and misty over there, that makes such a nice photo. And
You
got
could- you
home
could-
and all
you
the
could
news
feel
were like
it. It was-
saying like,
And they never determined the source. I presume it came from a ship. They never found out what the gas was, but this escape room was based on that. And there was a series of rooms, and you had to basically deduce what the antivirus was.
yeah,
and then
the
find,
gas was a virus basically, turned people into zombies basically.
And then you had to get the antivirus, and then formulate the escape plan, and then you complete it, and they let you out. You had an hour to do it. We took 58 minutes and 3 seconds, although there was a puzzle you could do to get extra time that Parcia didn't solve.
And there was another one you could do to get extra time, and I just didn't think I had to bash it.
There was also quite interesting, there was like a gun bit where you had to shoot the already infected people who were coming to attack you, the like zombie people.
Yeah.
So you could just have like your stupid person, no thanks. Yeah, no, we took it in turns. But you could just have someone there, and their sole job was just to go and take them out. And it was like an airsoft gun. It was quite
Converted to a laser gun.
Yeah. It was quite good. It had like an auto mode as well. But yeah, we did it. It was really good fun. I thoroughly recommend doing one. I'd probably do that one again. But I thought initially that the airsoft. What am I saying? I initially thought that the antivirus was integral to escaping. Like you didn't
Right, pause this a
complete.
second and just take this.
I thought that was integral to
I'm gonna go
escaping. Apparently, though, only 40% of the groups got the antivirus as well, and many people just literally decided that once their time was running out, they would literally just leave, just with the completed escape plan. So it was good that we got the antivirus as well, and it was a thoroughly enjoyable time, and I thoroughly recommend doing one. There's plenty of them around, and I thought the premise of this one was interesting with the sort of link to the local event.
So that just about concludes the podcast for today. This week, well, I say this week, but that sounds like it's a weekly occurrence. It's really not. But it concludes the podcast for this time. We hope you enjoyed. A big thanks to Luke for coming on. We'll have you on again.
Hopefully. I don't know.
Hopefully so, yes.
Did you enjoy your experience?
Oh.
Very much so.
Okay. Man of many words.
He's already got Outie, and it's not on the Reddit app.
No. We, as I say, are there any socials you want shouted out, Joe? Not Joe, Luke.
No.
Okay. As ever, you don't like your Snapchat, do you?
No, my Snapchat's a personal thing.
Yeah, okay, my Snapchat's a personal thing. My Instagram, as ever, Tallie Born, or Spexy Photography. Hit up Spexy Photography. Hopefully in the next month, I should have some photos up there of various things. If there's any suggestions you want us to do, message me on there, and we will do our research. We will talk about them.
We will do our research.
Yeah.
No, we won't.
Well, no, we won't. We'll
We'll
turn up on a
make it
day
up
and
on
do
the
exactly
spot.
like we did today and just search it. But thank you very much for listening. Until next time.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, that was a very convoluted.
Are we going to say bye at some point? Luke's already said bye. Okay.
That
Joe,
was a very
do you want to say bye?
that was a very convoluted bye, Tallie. All you should have said is bye.